So you already know, man. Obviously, last night in season tournament game, you know, the Lakers advanced, destroyed the Pelicans, and I'm not doing a breakdown on this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We just because it's a blowout. I don't even have time for that. LeBron obviously was going to work, splashing from Egypt, like he was killing. You know, when LeBron's in that playoff mode and treating these games differently, you already know that he's locked in and he's just mentally just, I'm here though, I'm here though, I'm here though. Especially if you don't match him with like padding ability, none of that. I'm here and I'm here and I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's beautiful to see that he's doing this at age 21, year 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. No matter what the skill set is, no matter what, like to do this regardless at a year 21 is different, yo. It's very, very different. We never seen that before. Never. You know what I'm saying? And that's definitely gonna add towards his resume. You know, at this point, Bron is just adding shit. Just adding shit to the archives, adding shit to the resume, you know what I'm saying? That's why he's trying to win this season tournament too. Just adding everything. Just adding everything to the archives, you know what I'm saying? Just adding as much as he can before it's all said and done. And you know, it's just beautiful to see that he just can control the game and still do what he do at this age, like with losing a step too. Not lose, he didn't really lose a step, but he lost a step, but he didn't lose a step. If you know what I mean? So it's beautiful to see, you know what I mean? So obviously, again, we don't even need to talk about the Lakers because they do this. They made a great change by putting Austin Reeves to the bench. You know what I'm saying? Cam Reddish has literally he's not trying to shot create. He's not even trying to be himself. He's literally just defending and being a menace. That's all he's trying to do. Because that's what they need in that starting lineup. That's how he's getting his minutes. Defend, guard the best player. Like he's literally like becoming a defender. Like that's what he's doing. So, you know what I mean? D'Lo's also defending great. Like they've sacrificed their games. And that's why as a hooper, I could see like when you're a bucket getter and you know you nice and you have to change, that's you have to look at yourself in the mirror. So for some people to do that, it's hard to do that. But he's just trying at this point. He might have been out the league if he just kept going this way because not his fault, but like there's so many nice guys that get out the league just by not buying into a 3-and-D role or whatever. And it's literally a hill that you have to die on. It's a crossroad. Every hooper a lot of times go through that. Not the guys who get the green light and the superstars, but the guys who they have to go through that. Mans are not playing me. I'm not getting my 6 men. I'm not getting buckets like I want to, like I know I can, and like I'm better than him and him and him and him. I fried him in practice, and I'm not getting. Okay, you know what? I'm on the Lakers now. Let me buy into being a defender, being this if I'm not getting minutes. You know what I mean? And so that's what Cam Reddish is doing. So you tip your hat off to that. He's not giving up. He's still fighting. And then you play this as a long game. You play this for a little bit, you know, and then eventually, a man gets injured or, you know, the next contract, now I'm going to show that I have a bag. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. So, you know, I like what I'm seeing from the Lakers, and Darvin Ham is a real coach. He's a hooper. So, you know what I mean? Like, hooper that, you know, he don't care about, yo, dog, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. You know, you could, if you're a real hooper, especially from that era, like they just act differently. It's just you move differently. You've been around, so you know what I mean. The mentality you cut from that cloth is different. So you know, I always knew that when they got him as a coach, I'm like, okay, this is the one. This is the one. So again, Lakers, we'll see how they play in the finals. You know what I mean, in the final game, in the in-season tournament. And it's not even about them right now. It's about the Pelicans. We have to have a conversation. The Pelicans, Willie Green and them, coaching staff, James Borrego, all of them, you know what I mean? This is real hoopers at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, they're at a crossroad right now where they have to make a decision. And for them to get to this point in the season tournament, it's not like they're not doing things that aren't correct. And what I'm talking about is that the Zion shit, again, remember, CJ was injured for a lot of that. So they move differently. So now when mans are coming back, you're going to have to now assess. That's where the crossroads come in. That's why they got blown out like this because, again, you're facing – it's not that they didn't face good teams. It's just that certain mans were injured. So, like, Hawkins was getting way more minutes, and he's a real shooter. Like, a lot of guys who were getting minutes benefited them in terms of getting to this point. But now when they're now at the final game and around this point, everyone's kind of fully back, that they're now trying to figure out what way they go. And in terms of play style and just how the fit and who's – being used and all that type of stuff. This is regular coaching shit. So when you look at it just from this perspective, like, dog, Zion, and Charles Barkley kind of alluded to this, but he didn't break it down. Obviously, you only have how many times you have, you know, in their segments that they have up there at TNT. But, you know, Zion can finish in the paint. Zion has great playmaking, this, that, and the third. And I think at times Zion being a ball handler, maybe with the backup unit, will make more sense. So you can kind of You stagger guys differently. You know what I mean? Brandon Ingram can ball handle. CJ McCollum can ball handle. And then you have Valanciunas. I would say empower Valanciunas to be like more like Lopez to shoot the three more. Obviously going to the post. If he gets a mismatch, you go to it. Like, you just read and react. I just like to read and react. It's not, there's no one blueprint to fit all because, again, every game's different. Personnel that you're guarding against or guard the guys that are guarding you is different. Certain guys have bigs. Certain guys don't have bigs. It's just a read and react. That's how I hoop. That's how I try to coach the game. That's how I try to teach the game. It's just how I love watching the game. The teams that just react and they don't do one thing all the time is just, those are the teams that I love watching and I love seeing. And I know that their contender ability can go to a different level as opposed to the guys just do their one trick pony. This is why Houston never won. It's the same shit. You're not even reading react. You're just doing the same shit. Even though the Mavs have cut off what you're doing or you've now missed 23s, don't do the same shit. Adjust. That's where the best teams have an adjustability. Adjust. So when you look at it from that perspective, Zion right now, obviously he's eating, he's doing all what he's doing. But the way Zion's play style is he's very similar to obviously Giannis, Bron, that similar play style where you finish in the paint so much you don't really shoot. Bron is obviously the better shooter out of all of them, so I don't put him in that category. But more so like Giannis, if you just want to break it down like that. They don't really shoot like that. They can't really shoot like that. And so their finishing ability is top tier. But when they ball handle and you're running the screen for them, all that type of shit, everything is it's extended closer to the paint, which from a defensive perspective that, when other mans run PNRs, they're at the three-point line, they have a shooting ability, so you don't go under the screen, you go over the screen, so now mans are on your back. So that 2-on-1 game and putting that, the man in the drop has to guard too, and it's easier, and so much happens from that. The corners to pre-rotate, you hit, so much happens from that, from just the PNR, which is why everybody runs the PNR. It's not just the PNR being ran, it's who's running the PNR. But when you have Giannis and Zion, and then they have the ball at the top, and mans are not setting them a screen when the guy who's guarding them is already sagging, so now the defense is even closer to the paint. They're already sagging, and now the defender's going under the screen. If they do set you a screen for Giannis and whatever, it's like, dog, you can't live in that offense and be a steady, elite offense in the half court all the time. You can't. It's counterproductive. You're gonna suss yourself. Like, that's fugazi. You can't. And that's what happens in that game. That's why they weren't getting buckets. That's why they're just getting abused. Because they're running that same shit, then Brandon Ingram gets off rhythm. And then CJ McCollum gets off rhythm because you're doing that shit with Zion holding the ball and doing and it's not that Zion's fault. It's just that's the wrong. In these playoff games and atmosphere, and that's what was happening with the Bucks with Giannis. When you can't run shit that you're doing in regular season or different times and run that shit in these playoff moments when mans will go under the screen, they're now locked in. Oh, Zion don't shoot, we going under, all that shit. They're going to cancel and force you to be in your weakness. Majority of the times. That's what real defense is. We can't stop everything, but we could force him to be in. If he makes it in his weakness, then we lose. But you have to earn it. We're going to put you in your weakness every time. Do it. Play after play, after play, after play, after play. And if you now kill it, then now we adjust if you have 35 off doing that. But that's not going to happen when you just go under the screen. Like, every man's in the paint. Then on top of that, you have JV there too. Like, it just clash. JV's at three-point line. Like, if I'm really green in them, the offense I would try to incorporate and do is where I have CJ and Ingram ball handling for the most part and Zion as a roller. And off the switching, then he gets a baby on him, and then you now give him the ball on the low deep post. He could break chest and go up, stuff like that. And then that's where JV and him won't even clash as much or put JV in the corner sometimes. Just you can manipulate it as opposed to having Zion with the ball. And it's like is going to be times where it's going to work. And I'm not saying he can't ever have it. I'm just talking about on a steady diet every time, like bringing up the ball and I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, that's what would be frustrating with the Bucks and Giannis sometimes. And then now you see it with the Pelicans and Zion sometimes. They have to now sit down and analyze and be like, okay, you know what? Zion going off doesn't always necessarily mean the team is better going off. You have to now, those guys that are going to be the ones who get the buckets in the fourth need rhythm. Not everybody is KD that don't need rhythm. People need to start. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you put him over here, KD, in terms of all-time great, because He's the one of the only guys that never need rhythm. Like, I've never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it from that perspective, like, dog, the Pelicans have to they're always at a crossroad with their offense. Like, whether you make a trade to get a shooting big, and then you could do that shit, and then you're more similar to, right? Ingram similar to Middleton, obviously a better version, but similar. CJ McCollum similar to the Drew Holiday, obviously a better version offensively, but similar shit. And then your big can really shoot, and he spaces out the floor. JV is not, he can shoot. Don't get it twisted. But if you want a potent, splashy, if you ask me, or just enable him to do that. You know what I mean? One or the other. You have to, that's where now, if you do that, then okay, maybe Zion could have it at a potent level. But you don't have that. You don't have that. You're not doing that. So you have to kind of facilitate and see what you're going to do. You can't do the same shit as other teams when you don't have the same personnel. So when I look at it from that perspective, Pelicans it's early in the season, which is great. That's the great thing about the tournament. It's early in the season. So like this happening now and that blow happening now, you can kind of fine tune some things. Don't ignore it. So, when Candace Parker and them on Candace Parker and Doc Rivers were saying, just throw that tape out and ignore it. You can't ignore it. Don't do that. That's the mistake. That's a bad decision. If a man was injured and we didn't have our fully team and weren't healthy, yes, you could ignore it. But when we're fully healthy and we got blown out in the biggest playoff type of atmosphere type of game, this is the one. If anything, we should be paying attention to this. Don't throw it out. Pay attention to this. Our offense worked when we had faced these teams. When we faced in real atmosphere, a real championship contender who went to the conference finals last year, and the Lakers, who even got better this year, and we got blown out by 60. It wasn't 60, but come on now, yo. We should really lock into this film. Because something is telling us, something is very evident and blatant what's happening. And we have to analyze that. Because we've been getting away with this type of offense versus these teams. And again, we were injured. So the personnel on the floor was different. So that's why it was working. And that's what happens with the Pelicans a lot. And I'm noticing from time, they'll have a certain skill set happening that works. Zion is out. Now Brandon Ingram, whatever, and it's working. Then Zion comes back. They have a whole different personnel. It doesn't work because everyone's healthy. And then when maybe CJ's out or maybe Ingram's out and then Zion is there, now it's working because every time they're fully healthy, it don't be working. It's clashing. But when they have certain integral parts injured and certain mans are there, it be working. What does that tell? It's very evident. I'm speaking on something. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even watch the Pelicans fully like that. Just when I watch, just IQ is IQ. You could come in one possession, you can see what's happening. Like, come on, fam. If you're really in tune with the game. So Willie Green, they have to really dissect this and actually analyze and look back for the last couple of years, like what's happening. There's no way Hawkins shouldn't be getting minutes, regardless of man's coming back. Like, you have to let's really look and see what's happening. So again, that's, I think, what the Pelicans are fighting. Like, it's like when their role players are playing more, they play better. When their stars all come back, there's a clash with the stars, that effect. And it's not that you can't use it, manipulate it. You're seeing that with the Clippers. There was a clash. Now Westbrook go to the bench. You could find a way to tweak. There's always a way. There's always a way. Are you just going to find it? Are you going to lock it and find it? Sometimes just in the middle of the night, it could just get a light bulb. Are you going to find it? You know what I mean? If you got to go do what one of your vices, you know what I mean? And it just comes to you. Go do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Go take that herb. You know what I'm saying? Go sit down, lock in, take that herb and lock in, go hit it and it comes to you. You know what I mean? I don't know, but that's just what happens, This is just hoop. You know what I mean? I'm just speaking to somebody, so we'll see how it transpires. Obviously, now the Lakers and Pacers, we'll see. 8:30 on Saturday, we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? I don't know who's going to win. Honestly, I don't even need to predict none of that. It's two different play styles, right? You got the Lakers, who, it's actually the same play style, but different because of the up-tempo and how the Pacers play. But it's the same PNR, same shit. But Miles Turner can really splashy, if you ask me. Their bigs aren't splashy like that. 80 struggles a little bit from three because he needs rhythm. If he got more attempts and got more, then you know what I mean? But he's like, I'm not going to go with the three because then I start settling. Let me just be who I need to be. You know what I mean? And because I don't get the rock like that, let me just get my rhythm and finishing in the paint, midi, and all that type of stuff. That's why you don't even be at the three-point line. So it is what it is. So we'll see. We'll see how these things transpire. So, it's going to be a great game, though. If it's funny, out of all the teams, I always was thinking, like, I wouldn't be mad. The Pacers are nice. I wouldn't be mad seeing them in the finals. I already know Lakers for just the business standpoint. I wouldn't be mad seeing them. Lakers, Suns, or Warriors, or Kings. Like, those three, like, them, that up-tempo, like, that would be, like, that's, like, match made in heaven for, like, the NBA. Pacers, Lakers is match made in heaven. Pacers, Kings, match made in heaven. Pacers, Warriors, Pacers, Suns, or Pacers, who was the other? There's another team I forgot. Whatever, but one of them type of teams where the styles match, and it's just beautiful to see, right? So we'll see how this transpires. Pay attention, you know what I mean? Lock in. Again, share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. On to the next one, man.